and I want to welcome you to our November 2nd Intermediate Planning webinar. Today we'll be going over in-furrow applied nutrients during planting. My name is Dan Bott, and I am a Precision Business Planning Specialist here at AgSolver. And in today's webinar, our agenda is we're going to go over our introduction and then select a field where in-furrow nutrients will be placed on corn production, and then select zones, work scenarios representing standard costs, assumptions, and associated costs. And then we're going to compare return on investment on particular zones and on whole field scenarios. And then we'll follow up with any questions anyone might have. And I do want to briefly touch on that we are in Q&A mode. So if you do have a question, you can type your question in the chat box below my contact information. My email is djba@agsolver.com, or you can contact our support team. They're in Ames. Their email is support@agsolver.com, or you can call my cell phone, which is 319-238-1978. Now we will hop into Profit Zone Manager. So in today's webinar, we're going to be working within one of my fields that I operate. And so we're going to be mocking up a 2017 corn production scenario with in-furrow nutrients. And I'm going to minimize the chat box right now. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to create a planning scenario based off of 2015 corn production. 2015 was the last year that we had corn on this field, and so we're going to base it off of these yields and then make minor tweaks and adjustments on what we can expect on the in-furrow nutrients being placed at planting. So what we're going to do is first going to click on the green Copy Scenario button, and then within our drop-down menu at the top, we are going to base our scenario off of actual production corn 2015. And what we're doing, we're making a carbon copy off of that scenario, and we're going to name this 2017 corn production. And we'll go ahead and click Save. So creating a carbon copy and renaming this scenario. So what we're going to do next, since this is 2017, we're going to edit the crop budget. And I have already pre-made my 2017 corn production crop budget. And to run through this, so we have a commodity price of $3.30, local cash bids to the ethanol plant here for next fall delivery are right around $3.54, but we're going to base an average off of $3.30. Other revenue, we're going to keep that at 0 for right now. Our equipment cost is $45 an acre. Seed cost is $125, and then we get into our fertility program. And in 2015, we front-loaded all of our nitrogen through anhydrous ammonia, so we're going to be switching that up and only applying reduced rates. And in this, we have a pop-up starter in-furrow at $10 an acre is what we're budgeting for right now. For P and K, we're at $40 and $30, and then $8 an acre worth of foliar feed. And going through the rest of the crop budget, projected budget, $55 worth for herbicide, insecticide, $20 for insurance, $6 for interest back to the bank, $15 for grain drying, handling, and hauling by planting a early maturing corn to reduce on grain handling or drying costs. Next, our land cost is $275. Labor, 0, overhead home personal, 0, custom hire, and other are all at 0. So we're going to apply our new crop budget with our in-furrow application budget to the field. So once that is set, and next I'm going to increase our field average yield. So instead of 214 bushel, we're going to create a hold field zone by clicking the green Add Zone button and adjusting the yield. So once we click on the Add Zone, our drawing tools pop up in the upper left-hand corner, and at the very bottom with the square with the lines running through it, this is our whole field zone option. And I'm just going to name this zone Yield Adjust. And then move the slider up till we reach 220 bushel corn for a field average. We'll go 221. So, and then our budget is the same. And the reason why we're increasing it because we can expect a 3% yield increase by that In-Furrow nutrient application. We can go ahead and click Save. And when it comes to yield adjust, typically I leave that up to the user on if they want to increase yield, leave the yield the same, or even decrease yield. So now if we scroll back down, you can see our new zone performance with our yield adjust to 221. Now we're making $56 an acre, then 84. But the next scenario that I do want to create is 2017 corn production without pop-up fertilizer. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy scenario again, scroll down. This time we're going to base it off of our 2017 corn production. And we'll label this 2017 corn production without In-Furrow. Go ahead and click Save. And then we'll come to our budget by clicking the Options drop-down menu right beside the scenario name. Scroll down to Edit Budget. And then we're going to scroll down and eliminate the pop-up starter. We're still going to be applying anhydrous, and we're going to be applying P and K and doing a mid-season foliar feed, but just eliminating that additional $10 cost. We'll scroll back up and click Save. And now we still have a projected yield of 220 bushel. What I want to do is actually eliminate our yield adjust. So say our yield goal is 214. So yes, we want to delete our management zone. So with our reduced budget, by taking out that $10 cost of the pop-up fertilizer and adjusting our yield back to 215 or 214, we can see our financial performance for this scenario. But it's really impactful when we compare different scenarios. So up right next to the field name, we have an options drop-down menu. And the first option is compare scenarios. Click on that. So on the left-hand side, we will have our 2017 corn production without In-Furrow pop-up, and then compare that to our 2017 corn production where we have the pop-up and applying the additional yield increase. So when we look at this 108-acre field, we increase yield by about 5 bushel. And before, if we don't apply the pop-up, we're going to make about $45 on this field. And if we do apply that pop-up with the additional yield increase, we're going to make about $56 an acre. Have about 1.5% return on investment increase. We increased our production efficiency by 4 bushel per $1,000 spent, which is big. We decreased our acreage opportunity ratio by about 3% on this field. Working capital opportunity is about $2,000 less. We were able to decrease our break-even commodity price from $3.09 to $3.05, which is relatively in today's prices, so we're good on that. We are spending about $2,000 more on this field, or $1,000 more on this field, but in total revenue, we're making $3,000 more, and for total field profit, we're making about additional $1,200 within this scenario. And we can always go back and say, all right, what if we don't receive a yield increase, or if we don't project a yield increase? We can come back, click on our 2017 corn production, click on the options of the zone yield adjust, edit our budget, and then reduce that back down to 0. Click save, update the map. And then click on the options drop-down menu right beside the field name. Compare scenarios. (2017) corn production with In-Furrow pop-up compared to 2017 corn production. See, now when we equal out the playing field, the scenario where we're not applying the In-Furrow pop-up shows more of an advantage. But after farming this field and seeing that we were short on nutrients, especially macronutrients, earlier in the growing season, we could tell that our corn was suffering and was lagging behind. So increasing yield by 5 bushel, to us in our gut, seems extremely doable under our management practices. And we're no-till. We're also in 20-inch rows. So when it comes to fertility management, it creates a bit of a hassle. So now I'd like to open up for any questions anyone might have regarding this scenario. And I do want to mention that this webinar will be posted on YouTube once it is completed. So in our YouTube page is just Ag Solver YouTube. So if you have any questions regarding creating scenarios on your fields within your enterprise, please don't be afraid to email myself or our support team, or call my cell phone. Be more than happy to set up a one-on-one webinar with you and go through the scenarios that you want to be created. Finally, I want to thank you, if we don't have any more questions, for joining our November 2nd Intermediate Planting webinar regarding in-furrow applied nutrients during planting. Thank you.